Alright, so here's the full behind-the-scenes of my dessert sketching process on iPad. Get ready to see all the indecisions that went into this. I started off thinking I'd draw a cup of ice cream, but then I thought, maybe a cupcake would be more fun? So I began by sketching a cylinder with a heart-shaped cross-section, just kind of playing around with shapes. My idea was to create something like a Napoleon-style layered pastry, with fluffy cream sandwiched in between. At first, I drew 2 layers, but it felt a bit plain. So I went ahead and added a third one to make it more interesting. Then I imagined stacking a scoop of ice cream on top, and maybe adding some chocolate elements to go with it. On the far left, I first thought of putting a raspberry, but later swapped that idea out for a marshmallow. Behind that, I added another marshmallow. To fill out the composition a bit more, I placed in 2 blueberries and a chocolate stick for some balance. Now, the chocolate slab? That part really got me stuck. I went back and forth a lot trying to figure out what shape it should be. At one point, I was thinking about adding a blueberry and maybe a little leaf as decoration on top of it. Once I had most of the rough shapes figured out, I started inking. I began with the base, the pastry, and the cream layers. Then I moved on to the ice cream and the blueberries. But the chocolate slab still looked a little too plain. So I added a couple of nuts to make it more detailed. I also changed the design of the chocolate stick. Decided to go with a cute little candy-style twist instead, because I was still unsure about the slab's shape. I actually went back into the sketch layer to redraw it entirely. Even now, I'm not 100% sure if it looks right, but since this dessert is totally imagined, I just let it go. It's not about being perfect. I adjusted the thickness of the slab a bit to help it feel more grounded. Then I looked at the marshmallows again. The cylindrical ones felt kind of boring. So I redesigned one into a flower shape to give it a bit of character. The one in the very back stayed a cylinder though, just to keep a mix of shapes. After all that, I went in to thicken the overall outlines, especially around the outer contours to make the whole piece stand out more. And finally, I emphasized some of the intersection lines to give it a nice sense of depth and dimension.